it's gonna lead, it's crazy how it leads to other opportunities.
Right.
Like, dude, I say this all the time on my live stream. I can't tell you how many times I've had somebody, Alex, say, dude, I watched your video on Facebook. Never commented, never liked. I've been watching your videos on Facebook for 3-4 years. What? Why haven't you commented or said anything? I want to hire you to come do a presentation for our sales team. Oh, cool. Here's a check for $8,000. Here's a check for $15,000. Yeah, talk to me. What did you want to talk about?
Well, I just remember last class or a couple classes ago, you had said, "Oh, put yourself out there, like really, make a channel, do all these things, and become like whether it be a content creator or just put yourself out there."
Mm-hmm.
And so I've heard you saying, so I was just like, how? Like I don't know the steps or anything in terms of how to do it.
Yeah. Well, okay. So that's fantastic. That's great that you even have the mindset to want to do this. It's everything now, because I say this before, personal branding is just a stupid phrase. What it really means is 21st century communications. Now we have the ability to demonstrably show, just like we talk about in class, instead of telling people and writing a little resume or writing a little pitch or a proposal, we can show people through content, through our art. It doesn't have to be video, through podcasting, through video, through articles, through written content, photographic content on Instagram, inspirational quotes, pictures showing us behind the scenes of who you are. So first of all, kudos to you for doing that. Second of all, the best place to start is, what do you want? What do you want to see happen? Like, for example, do you want to build content so that you can get more followers? Do you want to build content so you can get customers and clients? Do you want to build content so employers go, holy shit, this guy's the real deal. Like this guy, we interviewed 100 people, not one of them has a YouTube channel like this. Not one of them sent us this. Not one of them, when we search them online, has this kind of online presence. What do you want? And then what we need to do is reverse engineer that.
Well, I feel like that's the tough thing. It's because I feel like maybe everyone feels this way, where they feel like they have a lot to offer people.
Yeah.
And it's tough the whole point is to try to convince others that you are worth, the screen time, what I mean? So at least, for me, it'd be about like maybe getting followers or,
building an audience.
Yeah, getting an audience, and then, then steering to, it all just kind of depends. I just think audience mainly.
Oh, audience is huge. Building the audience, and so what your purpose is exactly what I want everybody to do, which is build really strong, high quality content that speaks to who you are and what value you can bring to people, how you can solve people's problems. The only reason, you have to understand this, if you want to build an audience, it can't be about you.
Right.
The only reason people check out content, the only reason people buy a product or buy into a message or buy into a cause or buy into anything is because it serves numero uno. So you have to dissect your audience. You have to know what it is that you have that other people will go, wow, I could get a lot out of this. So for example, are you somebody who can show people how to fix things around their house? Are you somebody who can show people how to become more fit, get in shape? Are you somebody who can help people solve their financial problems, help them solve their career and business problems, online business problems? That's what most of my content is about. Are you somebody who can inspire them and get themselves out of their own way, which is something I do with my content? What it is that you feel. It starts with identifying what is your core essentiality that you feel can help other people. It's about service. It's about helping other people. That's where you need to start. Now, there's a couple of ways you can go about doing this. One thing is you can actually create content around that core essentiality, where, like, for example, you actually create specific pieces of content that are topics based around your expertise. Or I think a much more viable way, and maybe even more, I don't want to say easier way, but maybe a way where the audience can kind of passively engage with who you are and get to know who you are without you kind of bum rushing the show and getting in their face, would be to just create a sort of daily journal vlog. Just create a couple videos a week on YouTube, a couple videos a week on LinkedIn about your experience. Maybe even just create content around, I don't know what the F I want to do. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. The only criteria is, Alex, is you just got to be real. You just got to be yourself. Don't try to convince people. You see, I was listening to you earlier. You said, I want to convince people that they should spend the time, the screen time, right? Dude, it's not about massive followers. It's not about quantity. It's about quality. I know dudes and dudettes, Alex, who seriously have started multiple six-figure businesses, which is more than enough for most people. I mean, let's be honest. For 85 to 90% of the people out there, making 100, 200K a year would be more than enough.
Right.
This whole idea that you have to make millions, you have to make billions, you want to be Mark Cuban, you want to be, that's just Instagram fantasy. Most people would do absolutely phenomenal on a six-figure, or dare I say, a multiple six-figure salary. Most people, right? You can do that with a very high quality, quote unquote, small audience. It's not about quantity. It's about the right people. So how do you attract the right people? By being capital Y yourself, by going all in on who Alex is. That means not just talking about how cool you are, not just talking about your accomplishments, not just talking about how great you are and what you can solve, but also maybe even sharing vulnerability, sharing your human side, right? Sharing your struggles, sharing your obstacles. Like, honestly, your first video, Alex, could be literally, I've never done this before. I talked to Professor Nez, and here we go. And he told me, just get up here and just do it and just share. And so here I am sharing with you. I'm being at my most 1 billion% vulnerable and transparent and honest. And I just want to start. So if this comes out like kind of bad, and trust me when I say this, everybody's first 100 videos, everybody's first 200 videos sometimes are absolute crap. They're absolute crap. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about it being the fear of, the one thing that stops people is the fear of imperfection. There's no such thing as perfection. As I said before, the only criteria is you just gotta be you. That's it. You just gotta be you. So start with demonstrating and sharing your story. What do you want to have happen? What do you want to bring to the world that you feel is a contribution? What's participatory? What is something that you feel you can give back? What kind of help can you provide? And so start there and then go all in on, where you think you would be the best and the most comfortable. Some people are not comfortable with video.
Right.
Some people are not comfortable definitely not comfortable with live video. Even though I think video and live video are huge, maybe it's podcasting. Maybe it's audio content. Maybe it's written content. Or, maybe you've got some buddies who are really good at video, but you can kind of help, orchestrate behind the scenes.
Right.
Maybe you could help with the scripting, or maybe you can help with the branding, or maybe you can sort of be in the videos, but not. It's not just all revolving around you. I mean, it depends on what you want. So if you want to, here's what I would say too, to kind of identify this. You said you want to build an audience, but for what? What do you want to build an audience for?
Well, to share my, because everyone kind of, I feel like, especially like my age group, we always kind of put up like a front that we are like this person that you see just on Instagram. When in reality, like I look at my Instagram and it's nothing who I am, and it kind of bothers me. And I want to be able to just sit there and like do exactly what you say, which is like say, hey, look, this is my first time doing this. Like this is who I am. Like
you can do that, dude. Dude, trust me. It's just like we talked about pathos, Aristotle pathos. Emotional storytelling. Branding is just storytelling. Selling is just storytelling. Communications is really storytelling. Creating content is storytelling. It's all storytelling. The only way people are gonna opt into you and opt into your whatever purpose you have is they can engage with your story. They can relate to your story. And dude, there's 1.6 billion people your age, millennials or younger, who are going through the same thing. They're just not comfortable doing this, but they feel like it's important. They see everybody else doing it, but they also have that thing in their mind where they go, do I have to be like that person on Instagram?
Right.
Do I have to be like that person on TikTok? Do I have to be like that shiny, happy, go lucky, everything's perfect, and I'm so inspiring Nez or whatever? Do I have to have this much energy? No. As a matter of fact, definitely no. There's already a Nez. There's already a Tony Robbins. There's already all these other people. But there's only one Alex. And who knows, dude? By you actually being one of the few people who's the most real on Instagram, you might start a bonfire. You might start an inferno. You might start a revolution. And that would be something like, dude, every time I check out Alex's stuff, he's just totally keeping it real. You know, he's talking about how he's struggling with this situation, this relationship, which your beautiful story was about, right? Like, dude, share that. Share that. Maybe the first video is, you know what? I want to stop all the BS. Maybe that's the title of your first video. Let's end the BS. Let's end the Instagram BS. I'm here to tell you it's not all coconuts and yachts. I mean, that's my phrase. I say that all the time. It's not all coconuts and yachts, because it's not. You see all these dudes and dudettes sitting by Lambos and yachts and in the Caribbean, you know, and they're counting money on Instagram. It's just not like that. It's just, I'm not saying that those people don't maybe exist, but what does that do? So it's like, okay, who are you on the inside though? That's not really relatable. I mean, that's fantasy. What's relatable is, who is Alex on the inside? Bring that out.
Right.
And then watch what happens. I'm not saying it's guaranteeing you're going to get a large following, but I guarantee you it's going to get you the right following. It's not about more. It's about the right people. It's not about quantity. It's about quality.
At least for me, like, I think now that having this conversation, I've like really been thinking about it. To me, I just want to feel like I have an audience. Like, if I were to, like, the goal would be to have an audience that is truly interested in hearing what I have to say, and taking pieces that they like from it and applying it to their own life. Because I know I've watched certain creators and, you know, said, oh, I take bits and pieces, and from your lectures, I've taken a lot of what you've said and applied it to my own life and thought about it, you know, out of school and in my free time. So I want to be that sort of creator and that sort of person for an audience. You know?
Dude, I'm just telling you right now, with your energy, with your vibe, Alex, sorry, and you've got this like drive to be earnest and drive to be sincere, it's gonna be freaking dope, dude. It's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna check it out. I know I'll wanna check it out. Because, dude, think about it. You are literally the audience of the future. I run 2 online businesses. I run an agency and an online academy. I do marketing all the time. I'm running businesses as well as teaching. I mean, the future consumers are you guys. So I need to get it. If I'm going to be a good business person, I need to serve. And if I'm going to serve, I got to dissect my audience's behavior, culture, psychology, what interests they have, psychographic, demographic. I have to get into that. And dude, you doing a show all about, hey guys, I'm one of you and I'm sharing my truth and I'm scared. I'm sometimes lonely. I'm sometimes sad. I sometimes feel like I want to give up. I'm going to share the good, the bad, and the ugly. Dude, what a great series on IGTV. The good, the bad, and the ugly of being a millennial. The good, the bad, the ugly of Gen Y. What is it, Gen Z, Gen Y?
See, I don't even know.
I know. And maybe that's just a bunch of BS. Maybe even you could disrupt the stereotypes. Forget the generational labels. The good, the bad, the ugly of being a 19-year-old in 2020. How old are you again?
20.
20. So the good, the bad, the ugly of, you know, an 18 to 24-year-old in modern times. The good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm going to share my ups. I'm going to share my downs. Maybe even you say this in the video. Like, I don't even know what's going to come out of this. I might not even want to keep doing this 6 months from now. But my point is I want to try. And I want to give it a shot. And I know it's important. And I know that you have this unbelievable access. You literally have your own broadcasting stations. You literally have free airtime, you know? Now, I would have said 2 or 3 years ago, you definitely had free airtime. Now it's getting a little harder. The algorithms are getting a lot tighter, especially Facebook and Instagram. But we'll talk about that way later. But paid traffic needs to be a part of your branding too. You got to pay for advertising. You got to pay for branding. When I say advertising, people think businesses only have to pay for advertising. No, your brand.
Right, of course.
Awareness. Who in the world is Alex? Why should I pay attention to him? What can he do for me? I know that sounds kind of funky, Alex. Believe me, when I was a 20-year-old, the last thing I wanted to do was serve. But, you know, now that I'm, you know, getting a lot and older and I'm understanding things a lot better and they don't teach you this stuff in school, it's all about the audience, dude. It's all about servicing the audience. And you get more kicks out of it, too. The more you see people commenting, the more you people saying, finally, somebody did it. Finally, somebody told the truth. Finally, somebody from a 20-year-old perspective, from a young person's perspective. Finally, somebody said this is all a bunch of BS. Watch what happens. Nothing's guaranteed. And here's another thing too. You're gonna change. It's gonna evolve. You might go from like, hey, I don't know what I'm gonna do, to like maybe 6 months to 24 months later, I know exactly what I wanna do. I'm gonna create the do-it-yourself podcast. I'm gonna create the the evolving 23-year-old podcast or something, right? It'll be on Alexa Flash Skills, or it'll be on Google Pod or Apple Pod or Google Home. And dude, it's gonna change, it's gonna evolve. That's one thing about building a brand. That's why I think if it's a personal brand, if it's Alex, how do you say your last name again?
Portonich.
Dude, I mean, that's what a name. forget the plumbing guys, or forget the lawyers, right? Your personal brand, your name. That way, if you change modes or you evolve and you go into different things, your name is always your name.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
That's why I always think it's better to brand yourself with your name, Professor Nez, right? I do mindset and messaging. Sometimes I go all in. I have content that's weeks and weeks about depression and anxiety, because I suffered from depression and anxiety as a young man. Sometimes I'll do weeks and weeks of just branding, and I'll do a tutorial on Instagram stories, right? Now, what does Instagram stories have to do with mindset? To me, everything. To me, everything starts with mindset. But, because it's Professor Nez, it's all under that umbrella.
Right.
I'm not like, oh shit, I only put the personal branding coach. I can't talk about, this or this or that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The personal brand, your name.
So what you're saying is...
And dude, you have a dope name. Like, that's a 1 in a million name. It's not Bob Smith.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're saying by branding yourself, you're not limiting yourself into any sort of field. You can just kind of go with the flow and do whatever you feel like you need to do.
I couldn't have said it better myself. That's exactly right. Start with really probing yourself and investigating yourself. What is it that I feel that I have that I think other people my age, or whatever the audience you want to serve, could actually get something out of? But another thing is that sometimes evolves too. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't even want you to trip too much over getting so analytical. Well, it's got to be 17 to 18 and a half year old. I don't want you to get even in that zone right now, but you will get into that zone. What I want you to do is just speak your truth. It's really about communicating your truth, whatever that truth is. And yes, the first 50 to 75 videos, the first 50 to 75 pieces of content are going to absolutely be abominable. But guess what? Everybody's starting that way. Even this dude, even the YouTube gurus, even the Instagram influencers, even the LinkedIn influencers, they all started off with a really crappy, poor quality, poor audio, poor video, poor presentation skills. Everybody starts at zero. That's the thing. Everybody starts at zero. So don't trip on that. It'll get better. I truly feel, if for any other reason, Alex, if for any other purpose, it's to really start to master these skills of camera branding and content creation, because these skills are going to be the most in demand in the next 5 to 10 years. Look at Disney streaming, look at Apple streaming, look at Netflix, look at Hulu, look at Prime. Everything is there. How do those companies survive? They need content creators.
Right.
So the better you are at these skills, like it's gonna branch off into different opportunities. It's gonna lead to different opportunities. By you creating an IGTV series, it may lead to somebody sees your video and it's like, dude, you're not that good at video, but guess what? I like how you kind of present yourself, and I like your thoughts and what you say. I'm really good at video. I'm starting a new platform. Why don't you come help me with the back end stuff? And I'll put the content creators. It's gonna lead. It's crazy how it leads to other opportunities.
Right.
Dude, I say this all the time on my live stream. I can't tell you how many times I've had somebody, Alex, say, dude, I watched your video on Facebook. Never commented, never liked. I've been watching your videos on Facebook for 3-4 years. What? Why haven't you commented or said anything? I want to hire you to come do a presentation for our sales team. Oh, cool. Here's a check for $8,000. Here's a check for $15,000. That never would have happened if I didn't consistently communicate who I am and my value. That's what it's all about.
Right.
Just putting yourself out there. If you don't put yourself out there, nobody's going to know you, and you don't exist. A piece of paper that says I graduated is just a piece of paper. This is bringing you to life. It's bringing your skills to life, not just having them 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional.
Right.
That's why I always say personal branding is 3-dimensionalizing who you are. The resume is dead. I say this, I'm an executive career coach. I work for LinkedIn. Now, most of my clients are like, I need a new resume. That's my whole business, practically. I'm telling them the resume is dead. I put out content that says the resume is dead. Content is your resume. Look at Nez, look at the way he talks. Look at how he communicates. Look at how his passion, his energy. You too, Alex. They're gonna love your earnestness. You don't have to be like Nez. You don't have to be like any other content creator out there. You have to be you, and watch what happens. And dude, take me along with you. Tag me in posts, send me an email, send me a DM. Hey Nez, my first video just went out. Hey Nez, I launched my first podcast. Hey Nez, I met up with this. Keep me posted. I'm there for you, brother. I mean that. Keep me posted, because I love watching people evolve in this kind of medium and this kind of format, and actually see what's happening with themselves and the world around them. This is the modern world. It's modern communications. That's all it is. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
I'm so proud of you, dude.
I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. I'm stoked that you actually care to do this.
Absolutely.
Like, honestly, like the fact that you even care to do this makes my heart just blow up. I love it. I absolutely love it. I think it's rad, dude.
I really appreciate it.
And dude, I mean, you don't have to start on, you know, any specific platform or other. You don't have to start on, I mean, you know, wherever you feel the most comfortable, just start there. I think you'd be fine on video. Again, you don't have to be like other people. You can be yourself. Right. But if you don't want to start with video, start with just posting, you know, some copy with pictures and photographs, or maybe post an article on LinkedIn or an article on Medium. Hey, title it My Story. That's the first one.
And what should I don't know, like, what would you recommend, like, the story be, like, obviously not like my life story, but my story in terms of what led me to, you know, start putting myself out there? Or?
Yeah, I think that you just be so honest. You just be so earnest from the start. I met with my professor who, you know, he has a podcast, he has a live stream show, he's an early LinkedIn Live beta tester. You know, he runs a couple of online businesses. I was inspired by him, and so here I am. And I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing. But guess what? I'm gonna do it anyway. This is what I want. This is who I am. This is what I think I can bring to the table. And maybe dive deep into that before you create it. Right. But I don't want you to overthink stuff, because the biggest, you know, barrier to people putting themselves out there is they overthink shit.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Like an example.
When I say that, they're like, oh God, well, I don't really know what I'm going to say, or I don't really, this is not really any, or should I put this? Should I put? No, don't overthink it. Like, your content is going to go into the universal bin of yesterday faster than you can say, you know, create. Like, people are gonna forget it. It's not a big deal if most people understand when you're first starting out, and you get a lot of encouragement too. There's a lot of good people out there. You're gonna get a lot of comments that are like, bravo, man, good for you. You know, you're putting yourself out there, you're doing it. You're not letting fear win. You're not letting the mind win. A lot of people are gonna dig that, dude. A lot of people are going to encourage you. So what I mean by overthinking is, don't think like, oh my God, is this good? Is this bad? Should I talk about this? You can get on that. Once you get on that train, it's very hard to get off, because that train is going to keep coming and coming and coming. That train doesn't ever stop. I don't want you to get on that train. Don't overthink it. Just put it out there. Who cares if it's not good? Who cares if it's not perfect? Just do it. You'll get better. And the cool thing is the more honest you are about the process, it gives other people courage. You inspire other people. Followers, subscribers go up the roof, and then beautiful things happen in the next 18, 24, 36 months. Watch what happens. That's awesome. That's it, dude. That's it. I freaking love you, brother. I'm so proud of you, dude. Yeah, you're welcome, man. You're welcome. Anytime.